Birshut Rav, with the permission of the rabbi. And I know that this Shabbat is also special because it is the Brit Milah of our Hazan's first grandchild. So Sally is not and Dan are not here today because hopefully the baby is already have been entered into the covenant of Abraham. So the bris was this morning, and therefore, since our Hazan is not here, let's see if you can follow me. I'm going to sing. Le Dorbador, Le Dorbador, Le Dorbador, Le Dorbador, Le Dorbador, Le Dorbador, Nagid God Lecha. ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך. בשבחך אלוהינו, מאיפינו לא ימוש, לא ימוש לעולם בארץ. So it's לדור בדור. So this morning I'm going to talk with you about doors. I have several doors in my house, and I am in charge of adding WD-40 when needed. The sound is not one that we enjoyed very much at home, but there is one door that particularly I never fix. Would you like to guess which one? Which is the door that I never fix? The front door, exactly. For some reason, I like to know when the front door opens and closes. Not that I am a control freak person, but I am. So every time our front door opens, we clearly hear the sound, and we know if someone is leaving or entering or picking. So we know when the front door opens. So today is Shabbat Hagadol, the Shabbat that precedes Pesach. And back in the time, it was customary for rabbis to give a long sermon reflecting on Pesach and all the rules of what is kosher and what is not. So that's what is called Shabbat Hagadol. It's a long sermon. I promise? No. So I would like to reflect with you for a minute about one of the steps of the Seder that is sometimes overlooked. And of course, I'm talking about opening the door for Elijah the prophet. When we grew up, we learned that Elijah visited every Jewish home and drinks from every cup that has been set for him, that has been filled exactly the moment before we open the door. So some years ago, with the spirit of equality, another cup was added, and now we have Miriam's cup as well. So when we open the door, usually we sing Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi. I hope you know that melody and song. And we hope for Eliyahu the prophet to bring us the redemption. Welcome those who bring the good news, the news for a better world, a world without pain and violence. And according to our tradition, Elisha is the prelude of the coming of the Messiah. Elijah the prophet and Miriam the prophetess. And as I was saying, I grew up understanding that the door opened to let the guests in. But as I grew older, I started to ask myself, if Elijah the prophet has superpowers, well, for sure he has superpowers because he drinks wine from every single house and never gets drunk. In any case, Elijah has superpowers. If Elijah has superpowers, why doesn't he, who has superpowers, come through the window? Why do we need to open the door, right? Isn't it a good question? Elisha could sneak in through the chimney, right? How we didn't think about that one, huh? Probably this is the only thing that we Jews did not invent first. A good guy coming through the chimney, it's a good idea. Elisha could get into the house in many different ways without us having to go and open the door. So there must be another reason, or at least one logic reason for us to open the door. And yes, there is a practical reason and a spiritual one that I would like to share with you. So let me start by the practical reason. We open the door after we fill Elijah's cup, we fill the cup before we open the door, because of the paragraph we are about to recite. Immediately after we open the door, we say, Shfoch chamatcha, pour out your wrath, God, on those who do not recognize you, Lord. So imagine you live in a shtetl in the middle of Europe, and the pogrom was around the corner, and you're about to say something about your non-very friendly neighbors. Well, I'd better open the door to make sure nobody is listening to what I am about to say. Because if they listen to what I'm about to say, the pogrom may start immediately. And that is the practical matter why we open the door. But there should be, and there is, I believe, a spiritual and deeper reason for opening the door. We open the door and we take the time to recognize those who open doors for us. We open it and we pause to reflect on those who made an impact in our lives, but making sure we didn't have all the doors shut in front of us. We leave the comfort of our chairs that usually are adorned by a pillow, and we stand up and open the doors to bring Elijah the prophet, but to bring back to our minds all those who gave us a hand, those who supported us in difficult times, those who really, really opened doors for us. So I would like to ask you to take a minute and think of those who open doors for all of you. Think of those who made a positive impact in your lives. Bring them back to your hearts and feel the gratitude you have for them. I hope you can picture several people who help you and open doors. Now I'm going to ask you to take another minute or a couple of seconds to think of what doors you can open and whom you can help. How are you going to make the difference? Whom can you support, help, and assist? What are the souls that you are going to inspire? What are the futures you will help to shape? So now, I hope you were able to think of many doors you can open. Let me go back to the Seder. We open the door to welcome Elisha, whom according to our tradition, we announce the arrival of the Messiah, of the Mashiach. But Pesach is not the only time we welcome Elijah the prophet. I hope you remember at least one or two more times when we welcome Elijah the prophet. Remember when? Anybody? On a Brit, of course, and an Havdalah at the end of Shabbat. So we welcome also Elijah the prophet on a bris and also on Havdalah at the end of Shabbat. And what a Brit Milah, a bris, Shabbat, and Pesach all have in common. All these moments are family times. Each of these is an occasion when everyone in our home is gathered for a meal or a prayer or a ceremony that celebrates the heart of the Jewish people, the family. And we do that ledor vador, from generation to generation. Generation after generation, we have been gathering as families, opening the doors for others. Ledor vador, generation after generation, we have been gathering together to make sure that if a pogrom is around the corner, the best way to face it is with our families. Bechol dor vador chayav adam lirot et atzmo kehilu hu yatsa mimitzrayim. In every generation, we should see ourselves as if we were just liberated from Egypt. We are told in the Haggadah of Pesach that in each generation, one must see oneself as we went forth from Mitzrayim, from Egypt. The reverse is also the case. In each generation, we must see Mitzrayim as it surrounds us today. Be'ishe'amda lavoteinu velanu. Not only Egypt, in every generation our enemies rise to destroy us, but we continue to gathering together and opening the door to hope for better times and a better world. Dear friends, in 48 hours, we will be opening the doors for our homes. We'll remember those who opened their doors to us. We will dream of opening doors to others. Let's not forget to hope that the doors of those who cannot enjoy freedom will open soon, and they may be liberated as well. May Elijah the prophet visit our homes so we can continue celebrating Ledor Bador, from generation to generation, from door to door. Shabbat Shalom.